Yeah, so let's not be fooled. Very good at this. Very good. I just need one bowl. I don't know where this other bowl's gone. Really, do you know where the bowl is? It's missing. Right, we'll get it in a minute. Oh my golly gosh. Right. Oh! Right, two. Excuse me. There we are. Hello, welcome. It's Thursday. I'm getting really good at this. So everybody is eating. Jem is out in the hall having her dinner and keeping a wee eye on her. And it's really lovely because she's now at the stage where I bring Elvis into the big stall for night time. And he stops at his dinner plate and starts eating, and she cruises on by, out the door and into the aisle for her dinner. So that's really quite nice. She's got her routine off pat now, and she's very sweet. Sometimes she thinks that she needs to go and see what Elvis has got going on, so you'll hear her mooing. But sometimes she's like, no, I'm thoroughly enjoying this, and I'll just stick at it. Because she's a clever girl, aren't you? Yes, you are. She's a good girl. So she's just having a munch away. And it has been, this was supposed to be, I said to Janine, oh, tomorrow is going to be such a calm day because there isn't a job and I can just get on with the barn and it'll be lovely, and because I love being in the barn. And it's great. I got to the barn, I think, just before 10 o'clock this morning because everything else just went pear-shaped. And we had Willow last night, so Nick was bringing Willow down. Willow, of course, I think Nick didn't realise Willow could open the door for herself. So she toodled on down at speed to Carlene's house, opened the door and let Larky and Sizzle out. And Larky and Sizzle disappeared up the driveway and down into the parking pit. And so that was super fun because they were both intent on finding what activity had happened in the parking pit overnight. And of course, you have to remember that that's where our fox travels through about 7 in the morning. So yeah, they were intent with all the sniffs that were going on down there. So Nick had super fun bringing them back. And we got them all back and situated. And then we had to start having a think about what we were going to do to integrate Mandy in with the rest of the pack down at Carlene's house. So we decided it was probably best to grab the bull by the horns and get on with that, which we did. So I put Larky and Willow out into Honeymoon Hill, and I brought Mandy across from the ICU building and popped her in, and Carlene had Sizzle in a downstay, which was super, and I held on to Miss Mandy. And between Carlene and I, we got her sitting and we got her down, which was super. And then we did a few walk pasts with Sizzle, who is desperately unimpressed at having another female in the house. And she behaved herself beautifully. Mandy didn't really pay her the slightest amount of attention, really. And so I left Carlene, once we'd checked a few things and it didn't look like we were going to have an explosive situation, I left Carlene and Sizzle and Mandy in the house together just to try and get on with things. And Mandy was still on a leash, which was great. And I took Penny and Larky over into the ICU. Justin taught Penny I keep calling her Penny, Willow, how to use the dog door. She's still not quite got it, but Larky knows how to do it. And that was all fine. So I came over to do the barn and, was getting things mucked out and everybody had been fed and that was super. And I went up to go and have breakfast, probably around about 11 o'clock. And I got 2 text messages to say that there was a dog out and it was Willow. So that was great. So Justin then sent a text to say, I've got her, it's not a problem. So that was wonderful. And I thought, well, I better just shove this breakfast into my mouth and get down there. And when I was down, just before I was leaving, Carlene phoned and she said, I think it's probably Mandy that's out, actually. And lo and behold, Mandy had managed to open the lock. And now we know that Mandy is exceptionally good at escaping from places from where she shouldn't. So she had managed to open the lock on Honeymoon Hill and had taken herself for a wander. But fortunately, she knows to go home, and her home is the ICU. So that was fortunate. She was hanging around out there until she decided to go to the paddock, and she can actually squeeze underneath a higher part of the paddock fencing, which nobody actually realised until she did it. So we've had her since, when was it, before Christmas, and she's chosen never to leave, which was great, but she can get in and out of the paddock, as can Willow, and I'm not sure whether or not she saw Willow getting in and out of the paddock, or whether or not she knew all along. But anyway, I ended up in the courtyard with Willow and Mandy, which was super fun. But Justin came and he retrieved one of them. I think he retrieved Willow, and I took Mandy because she was quite strong, and took her back over. And then we decided that we would just bite the bullet again and introduce all the dogs. So Justin and I used what used to be the old Donkey Cafe, and we introduced Mandy to Larky. We had them both off leash, and it went really pretty well, not a problem. And then I took Larky back to the White House and Carlene, and then came back and we introduced Willow officially to Mandy. And Mandy wasn't overly impressed because Willow is like Zebedee, she just bounces all over the place. So that's just going to take a little bit longer. But it was all quite calm. You could see Mandy thinking, oh, this thing's really bouncy. So we cut it short, and I took Willow back to the house, and Mandy is in with Justin because she's very comfortable with Justin. I happen to know that they actually lie on the twin bed, which is Mandy's bed, and he sits and talks to her, and she thoroughly enjoys all the attention. So I think the pair of them were having quite a nice time. So the aim with Mandy at the moment is to get her socialised with the dogs. We're going to have to work with leash control because it is not good, and we'll have to get her working more like one of our outreach dogs. But at the moment, it appears that everybody's quite calm, and long may that continue. So that was quite a busy day and afternoon. And then it's just been the barn, and it's lovely because everybody in the barn seems to be enjoying the warmer weather. Our turkeys are nuts. I've just decided they're absolutely nuts. I don't know what they're up to, but they're posturing, their feathers are up, it's probably breeding season. It's crazy. And Sally took herself off into the goat stall so that she could have a chit-chat with the turkeys that were still in the turkey pen. And oh my goodness, it was so silly. So anyway, she's back. And then this afternoon, 2 of Nick's muscovy ducks ended up in the turkey stall. So everybody's all over the place. So we'll just have to deal with what comes our way. I think that's the best thing. And Carlene is doing well. You'll probably notice in my video that she's in the short sleeve because it's lovely and cozy. That's my goats trying to get out because I haven't shut the door because I need to plate their bowl. I actually noticed Milo yesterday after dinner, and there was a funny noise from in his stall, and he had put his hoof through the handle on the feeding tub and was walking around wearing the feeding tub. But he managed to get his foot out, and all was good, because goats don't normally stay trapped anywhere for too long, put it that way. So Carlene's doing very well. She's feeling the cold. She likes to be in her very cozy house, and she's tired. I think, as we all know, her INR is a bit off. She's, this is just one of these things. And I don't think she's wearing her CPAP. I'll have to go back and double check that, actually. So she's extremely tired. Winter sometimes has that effect on people. But we managed to get a little video today, and we'll see what else we can do. But I think it's quite a lot. I do go in before every meal chat and give her whatever meal there is for herself and Janine, and ask her if she would like to come and join us. And I think to give her due, it's not a pleasant time of year for Carlene. It's definitely not her favourite time of year, and it's a big ask. So she'll continue with her daily doggy. She'll come over. We'll take videos when we can. I was actually hoping that I was going to take her to the doctor yesterday, because I thought by the time we were coming home we could have done a little Facebook Live on while we were out in the car. But she went in her Uber. I was replaced because I didn't get back in time from Rockport. So she went off by herself and then came back by herself, which was amazing. She quite likes Uber. She's rather impressed with it, so that's good. We had a lovely visit up in Rockport at Oceanside yesterday. We saw about 40 residents and staff, and we took the rabbit and we took Larky, and it was very calm, and we had really nice conversations with people, and it was great. So it was so nice to see Nancy Pittman, and Nancy Pittman used to organise our visits when we went to hunt, and she's moved up to an organisation in Rockport. So it's nice. It was lovely to see her. She did bring us a Santa suit. You know how much I love dressing up. And so I have that in the back of Carlene's car at the moment. And it was just a lovely visit, and it was great. Carol came and met me here, and we drove together because I wasn't sure that I was going to make it to Rockport in time. So Carol had all the directions all sorted for me. So we got there. It was a really lovely day. So that was super. And then we took Boom into Board and Train, and the Board and Train is up in Newbury. And this is actually, I'd have to ask the lady if she likes to share her details, because she works for other organisations, and we're very lucky to be able to have Boom in there. And he'll be there for a week. And then I think at the moment what we're hoping is that Boom will be able to go home with Sharon, because the one thing that we cannot provide for Boom when he comes back from Board and Train is the level of consistency that he's going to require, because it is important that the training that takes place in these 7 days is reinforced and replicated, because that's how he will learn, and how the people who will handle him will learn. And it means that we should really have a pretty easy dog. I don't know if you remember when I had Annie in Board and Train for 5 weeks, and when she was brought back to me, I used to do 10,000 steps before 9 o'clock in the morning, because I took her out for training walks, I took her into different places so that I maintained the learning that she had, and I was also learning at the same time. So it was very labour intensive initially, and we still follow exactly the same program that Goldy put in place for us. So that was hugely beneficial to Annie and to myself. So it would be lovely to give Goon the same opportunity, I think, because he's a lovely dog, and Mandy is also lovely. So I better check. I have no mail and there are no packages because I did double check that. Oh no, it was no job today, sorry. Hold on, I'm going back down here. Excuse me a minute. Jam Jam! Jam Jam! My little cow has gone for a wander. What you doing? I see you. Well, I hear you. What? Excuse me. What you up to? Oh, she's moved on to the other bucket of feed, which is for the 2 mini horses, which I don't really mind because it's only forage. So if she wants to eat that, she can eat that. Because they are not exactly underfed, those two. Right, I'm sure she'll be back down. She's such a funny little cow. Yes, I hear you. I'm not going to bring her into 9 and 10 today because she's having her dinner and she's quite she's very calm, and sometimes she just has days when she's I'm trying to get her into a routine at the moment where she knows to come to dinner and she kind of like self-loads herself to dinner, and that's the routine that I'm trying to get her into, a bit like Peanut. I was saying to Kate today, she said Peanut wouldn't put her halter on this morning. She kept throwing her head around, and I said, that's probably my fault. I said, because I don't put a halter on Peanut nor a lead rope. I said, when I bring her in from the ice house, because she is the little mini horse who's 30 and doesn't have any back teeth, we bring her in and we give her a forage feed. And when I bring her in, I said, I just call her. She comes trotting in from the paddock into the barn. I open the barn door, and she just trot-trots across the grass and self-loads herself into her stall with her dinner. We shut the door, check she's got water and hay, and that she's comfortable, and that's the job done for the night. I said, so I think she thinks, I don't need one of these halters. I know what I'm doing. So that's my fault. So I'm trying to get all of these animals used to where they're going and develop a little routine. Because I know Janine has a very good routine of her own, but sometimes you have to work your own one so that it flows in your brain. So I'm going to leave her there just now. I want to try and get her halter broken a little bit better. So once I've started working on that, I'll bring her back in to 9 and 10 because I think that would be helpful for her. I've got her on a program. The program is in my head, but I'm just taking development steps all along the way. I know, that's really funny you should say that. I was speaking with Janine this morning. She said, how are you getting on? I said, I'm fine. I said, it's a bit warm. And she said, it's it was about 10 degrees colder in Aiken than it was here. It was really funny. I was like, oh, well, we're roasting hot. So I thought that was quite unusual. No, Cloud, Aspen Hill is the job tomorrow. I don't know what I'm saying. That's nothing unusual. Well, Larky and Willow sleeps up with us at night time in our house. She sleeps in with my daughter in what used to be the condo. And then during the day, if she's nice and calm, Carleen has her out and about with Larky and with Sizzle just in the main body of the house. But if Carleen's going to sleep, what she does, and Carleen's very sleepy at the moment, what she does is she pops Willow into her crate in the house, and she's an enormous oversized crate, and that allows her to be in a more controlled environment where she's safe. So that's good. And Larky is not in a kennel. my gosh, are we going to Aspen Hill on Wednesday the 21st as well? Ooh. Yes, that's it. That's exactly what will happen. It was Sharon and I who took them in last night, and Sharon will be, she's really the point of contact, and so she will be trained in how to handle all situations and fully briefed on what he's been learned. A bit like, I think you probably saw on camera, when Annie came back, Colby came and worked with me in her home environment. So we came down the driveway, we walked past the dogs on Honeymoon Hill. She didn't react to the dogs on Honeymoon Hill, although they were barking, which was super. And then she went for a walk with Janine in the courtyard, and then she went for a walk with Carleen in the courtyard, so that we were all familiar with what happens, because Annie had a terrible problem with running away, and you just couldn't catch her. I think she'd been running for about 2 months by the time she eventually came up to us. So that was her first line of defence was run, 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 and don't let them catch you. And she was very good at it. So we got that sorted. So it'll be a very similar situation to that. She is such an adorable little cow, is Miss Jem Jem, and she's getting a bit more comfortable with me. I haven't really handled her very much, so she's getting a bit more comfortable. She's just sitting. I've got the door open into the aisle, and I'm just sitting watching her eat. She does like to stand with her foot in the bowl so it doesn't move. So she's having a little nibble, which is great. So Arthur's looking much better, and I think he's probably had an abscess and it's popped. He is very prone to abscesses, is our Arthur, and he's looking much more comfortable. So we'll keep a good eye on him. It was me. That's my recliner. I was stuck in it. I was reading on my iPad, and I thought, I very rarely actually go into that recliner, to be honest with you, because I normally sit at the desk. And I was reading, and I was so tired, I fell asleep in the chair, and I thought, oh. Then I woke up about 12:30, and I went to put the legs down on it, and it went beep, 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 and I was like, oh, you're joking. But what I'd done with it is I'd put my legs up, and I'd put my back in such a position. It was supporting my back so I could read, but we were tipped back quite far. And of course, and every time I tried to shuffle myself to the front like this, the leg part would go down and hit off the ground and teeter-totter back and forward. And then if I went back the way, it teeter-tottered back and forward, and I thought, oh, I'm going to have to go over the armrests on the side. And those armrests are quite high. I was all over the place, honestly. And at that time in the morning, I just wasn't thinking straight. I was like, I don't think I'm going to be able to get out of here. And I'd gone a certain, the way when I'd started trying to get it back into position, I'd ended up in a really, really awkward position. So I didn't even have it out straight. I could have fallen asleep in it. It was really uncomfortable. So Nick was sleeping and Sophie was sleeping, and I was there all by myself. I did have an audience of dogs, though, who were highly amused at me flapping around all over the place. It's ridiculous. Things you never ever think will happen. There are absolutely no kennels in the ICU because the doors were removed when service dog left. So, but we're not very worried about it because the dogs that are in there, they would be dogs that would be under supervision. Justin lives on the other side, and it would also only be dogs that we were confident that were going to be settled with one another. The one thing that we did think is that if we put our Miss Willow in there, that we would take her crate over so that she had an area where she could be safely contained, because I think that's good for her, because she tends to be the one that does all the jumping and getting everybody all excited. Yes, that's a good idea, Cloud. I'll do that. What I do with Jenny is I just very nonchalantly walk past her and just pat her on her back, and then I keep going, because I'm just going slowly, and I think that seems to keep her quite calm, and she doesn't run away. She just sort of looks at me as if to say, "Did you just touch me?" I'm like, "Yes, I might have done." And but she's getting to the stage where she's beginning to come when she's called, which is lovely and very helpful. So she's just such a little sweetheart, and she's very dependent upon Elvis, and she gets a lot of confidence from Elvis. So I'm quite pleased that she will come out and she will actually eat her dinner in the aisle. And it used to be when I brought her out, she would move to make sure that she knew where Elvis is. But at the moment, she's wandered off up the aisle, and she'll be going to have a little nosy somewhere. So that's good, because she's definitely developing a bit more confidence and a bit of a can-do attitude. She's disappeared, so but she can't get out of the barn. As long as I close the barn doors at the end, she's A-okay. No, Mandy is actually very calm, and it was really quite funny. One of the things that we were all worried about was that last night she was obviously going to be by herself because Boom was away, and we spoke with her family about it, and but Mandy is very much a dog that likes to have, and this is coming from her family who know her, because I really haven't known Mandy very long, and only definitely since she came in, and Mandy very definitely loves having attention to herself, so she's enjoying, and Justin just loves her, so she's enjoying having the time and the personal attention, because when Justin used to interact with Boom, she'd be right over going, "What about me? What about me?" And I think what Justin is ultimately hoping is that she will accept his cat, and his cat will tolerate her, so that she doesn't have to sit out in the kennel side, she can come in with him, which would be really lovely. So it was a bit of a busy day, and absolutely none of it went to plan, thank you. But we didn't have any disasters, touch wood, because there's still time, and we'll take it from there. So that's all worked out just fine. And probably what I'll do tomorrow is I will pop out some hay and put everybody in position, and then go and do the job in Haverhill, and then come back and do the stalls and get the barn set for the evening. And it's quite nice, because I'm just taking my time and wandering through things, because I do like wandering around the barn with the animals. It is very, very peaceful, although I can say that at the moment because it's been very warm. I'm quite sure the temperatures are about to go back down, but I do still like being with the animals, so that is lovely. Right, so I don't think there are any more questions at all, which is like good, I think. Okay, so that's us. So we'll be back tomorrow. Well, I'll be back tomorrow. Jenny might. And we never know what's happening with Carleen. So that's exciting. And we'll take it from there. So I hope everybody has a lovely evening. And I'm going to wait to retrieve my cow and bring in my two little mini monkeys, because those two mini horses, they're hilarious. They are just something else. Right. Have a lovely evening. Okay, one dog leash, that's off. I'll put this in the door. Hey, Miss Jen. Hi, Elvis. Where's your puppy? what you're doing.